Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy Friday to join this old dude in this plaid button up short sleeve shirt. You feel me? I would have it no other way, and I truly appreciate you. Yeah, this shirt I found. Like most of my clothes. I am a shameless dude, And obviously, if you didn't already know, I'm more of like a simple guy. I'm just trying to make some stacks so that we can do whatever we need to do to help everybody else out. As it turns out, there aren't a lot of jobs, and the general morale out there in the world, I guess, isn't as positive as I'd like it to be. But I'm just the guy that talks about nothing. I mean, that's literally all I do. So don't let me, get into your way of getting things done, because I'm only going to tell you to, do nothing. There's going to be no helpful things here other than doing nothing, and in that same regard, we talk about, everything, there is nothing safe that we will not talk about just so long as it's appropriate and all that other stuff, I guess. But whatever, there's always rules to follow, and I'm happy to follow them. I'm a rule follower, for a long time when I was like a little boy, like a little rambunctious little boy. I thought it was better to be a rule breaker. I've since learned that it's better just to follow the rules, just do what you can and try to change what you can within the parameter of the rules that you're given. I mean, it's like Monopoly, right? There's dedicated roles in life, and oftentimes we're not the bankers, so there's that whole thing. But tonight I want to make an open letter to all of my favorite sports influencers. So I was thinking about this. I was just having a conversation with my roommate. We have like many sidebars. My roommate and I have many, many good conversations. You feel me? And we also get to talk a lot. So we talk a lot. But anyways, we were talking, and anyway, I ended up on Michael Buffer. You feel me? And then I started to get real jacked up because I just got out of the shower, and my hair is I don't know what's wrong with my hair, but I I think it's the water. But anyways, I was talking about Michael Buffer, and I was like, ladies and gentlemen, for the millions around the world. I love Michael Buffer because he's the dude, And then I started thinking about boxing, and then I started thinking about how I'm competing in an event for the first time in 2 decades. I mean, like an organized adult event, and it's not for winning or whatever. It's just about me being able to perform still, because I just was always told that when you get old, you don't do stuff. My parents aren't the most active people, in terms of physically, wanting to play sports. I mean, how many of our parents are, probably statistically speaking, a lot more than there has been in the past, but still, the numbers are pretty low. You feel me? I mean, for the best of us, our parents are out there playing pickleball, I mean, which again, is no bag on them. Pickleball looks kind of fun, actually, and it's the fastest growing sport in the United States of America. So, I mean, that's either a bunch of boomers are picking up the pickleball rackets, or a bunch of boomers are picking up the pickleball rackets, because there's not exactly anyone under the age of 40 who's throwing up that, pickleball thing or whatever. But okay, so Michael Buffer, right? He leads me into this whole series. I look it up on YouTube. I'm watching the guy. Michael Buffer was sick. You feel me? He was the dude, right? And then his brother obviously had a brother too who's pretty good, but not as good as Michael Buffer. You know what I mean? And these are some of the greatest boxing matches ever. And then I started to think about boxing and how, I'm not a fan of combat sports, but I like to consider myself a gentleman, and I am a dude, So I mean, considering that I like rules and I like being a gentleman, yeah, I'm kind of weak when I say that I enjoy sports like fencing, and to the largest or to the larger extent of full contact. I American boxing, both World Boxing WB or whatever, and World Boxing Federation, I think is what it's called, and then the World Boxing organization, the WBO or whatever. And I know that there's different rules, but American boxing, as it stands as an entertainment sport, I'm more of a fan of Olympic boxing because there's a lot of rules and it's just about technique, for me, and I like technique more than I like pulverizing another human being. But like that's just me, and I'm a small guy, so I not exactly like I can go around pulverizing many other people in general. With my stature, like there's like physics involved and stuff. So I like American boxing, but then so Mike Tyson, right? Obviously, and then now I'm just gonna start naming off names that have been like real important to me, and that may not necessarily be sports like players, right? So Craig Sager. Craig Sager was dope. Like, okay, he was an NBA sports telecaster, and he always wore really loud clothes. Like, you could spot this old dude from miles away. He had on the flyest gear. You feel me? He'd wear like plaid suits and like these just crazy, not like colorful plaid and like silk suits. This guy was like sick. Unfortunately, rest in peace to Mr. Sager. I looked him up before I started the video, and good thing, right? Obviously, because he was an older dude and he passed away in 2016, so rest in peace. But dude, like, what happened to all your clothes? If you're up there in heaven, Mr. Craig Sager, I want to know where your wardrobe went. I'm just saying, right? Because, like, the dude had crazy style. Okay, so also, I grew up with Stuart Scott. Okay, so if you guys don't know who Stuart Scott is, it's obviously because you're too young and this is a millennial thing, like alphas, you got your things, your iPads, and Gen X has their things, or Gen Z rather has their things, right? I don't mean to confuse the generations there, but still, Stuart Scott, like, come on now, like, I got game like Stuart Scott. You feel me? Like Lil Wayne. It's a line from the Carter 3. Everybody that's ever been a millennial and watched Sports Center and grew up watching ESPN knows about Stuart Scott. Stuart Scott was legit, and it was so sad when he passed away. He was a real young guy. He meant a lot to the sports community. He had cool vibes. He reminded me of a way cooler Ahmad Rashad. So I also grew up with Ahmad Rashad, who was the host of NBA Inside Stuff. Like Ahmad Rashad was dope. Ahmad Rashad is like to sports what the old Star Trek guy is to reading Rainbow. Like just straight fire. You feel me? I love that show. Inside Stuff was sick. Like that's where I got to learn about Cheryl Miller. You feel me? And how I like Cheryl Miller more than I like Reggie Miller, and how I don't care that I say that because Reggie Miller is a punk. And I'm just trash talking because Reggie Miller's from Indiana and also does major trash talk. Too bad for him, he doesn't have a real title, though. Ooh, it'd be hard competing against Jordan, I feel you. But anyways, Cheryl Miller was a host on NBA Inside Stuff, and so I grew up with her a lot as well. So, and then when I got older, and this was after, like, the John Woodens, you feel me? Like, in terms of learning about, I'm not that old, but, like, obviously, I play basketball, and I'm an athlete, and you hear things about good coaches and so forth, and so John Wooden has been an example for all of us athletes in terms of legacy and just getting on the basketball court and being an honest dude and playing, a fair game of basketball, which is like, I guess, a lot more complicated than you might think it is. So, John Wooden is cool, Stuart Scott, Ahmad Rashad, Craig Sager, Cheryl Miller, Michael Buffer. I also like, in terms of like the sports world and, Mike and Mike. I grew up watching a show called Mike and Mike on ESPN, and, that was like the best sports show ever until the dudes had like the worst falling out ever, and it turned into like this drama, and to this day, I don't even think they're homies anymore, but man, they had the highest rated freaking sports show in the whole nation, and they were dope. Like Mike and Mike was like the last version of a real cool sports show that you could guarantee would be on at a certain time every day, and they would have crazy different perspectives on the way the game was played, like all the sports. And yeah, when they split up, a lot of us were pretty sad because Mike and Mike was real dope, you know what I mean? But like, so seriously, sports, make people the way that they are sometimes. I feel like we are just in fact summations of, our circumstance and experience, right? And I've had the real cool luxury of falling in love with sports at a really early age. And I feel like my love for sports and for athletics and then for competing, transcends anything else that I've ever even remotely cared about, like passively, like I really, really like sports, and I really like playing them. I like talking about them. You feel me? I like watching them. Mike Krzyzewski, you feel me? Like if I wasn't 5'4", 115 pounds, I'd love to be like a basketball player and stuff, right? We all have our hopes and dreams that we can never actually realize. And one of them for me, obviously, was not ever being able to even remotely be able to approach a physical stature that would allow me to be competitive, with all the other big men that play sports, you feel me? But like, I love basketball. Again, Mike Krzyzewski, I didn't throw him in there soon enough, but like, I mean, holy potatoes, a lot of these guys, even if they don't know it, which I'm sure they do because they're highly regarded coaches, and this is what, coaches and sports commentators, are about. I mean, we didn't even bring up Bob Costas, right? And he's underrated because Bob Costas also did like some other non-sports things, and I feel like that kind of threw him off of remaining with the sports world. But Bob Costas, you feel me? Marv Albert, as a commentator during the old school Jordan days, was a wonderful commentator. We all know now that he was a super creep, you feel me? But still, I grew up in a certain era, in a certain generation, and I mean, like I just like Joe Buck, you feel me? Like baseball commentator, dude. Like I have grown up, when I was a little boy, I'd listen to baseball on the radio, from like the old Dodger Stadium, and some just I love sports, and I love the people that work within sports and the organization. It's all just a really cool thing. I like organized sports just as much as I like pick up basketball games, you feel me? That's why I love basketball. You can be in a gym and you can play it with rules or governed by a referee, or you could go out on the blacktop, and conduct business accordingly with your fellow peer group. And I always find that to be the best modality of getting to know people and getting to build trust, with a bunch of strangers. So like I love basketball and I love sports, and open letter and shout out to all of those people that I mentioned, you feel me? Because to this day, these people continue to impact me in a way that's very meaningful. I got a lot of energy, you feel me? And I think a lot of that is because I like to play sports. My body's used to being very active and things like that, and I'm getting older, but I'm enjoying a life of, being able to remain healthy, and stay on top of that because it's important to me. You feel me? Like, I'm not doing anything else. I mean, the least that I could do is, concern myself with my own well being, as it is physically and mentally, being solo, single, and alone. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, for all intents and purposes, I feel like I'm doing all right. So I am just missing, like all the other stuff, but I'm sure that'll come. So it is what it is. And if it doesn't, I mean, what am I gonna do? Nothing. So I hope that you guys have a really good night. Thank you so much for watching the channel, and until next time, bye.